Hi, I'm Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and this is another one of my American Headhunter videos designed to help recruiters be more effective. Now, I'm someone who's done search for more than 40 years, filling more than 1,200 positions plus consulting assignments over the course of my career. I know a couple of things about recruiting. Now, it's very tempting to take a job order from a firm. After all, you've been trained to believe it's money. You can make money from this. But a client can also steal time from you too. And unless you can tell the difference, sometimes we're tempted to do things that aren't in our interest. So I just want to encourage you that when you're accepting an order, look at it with a discerning eye. And I'm not just simply talking about the requirements list. Watch this one, typical requirements list. You take a look at it, and what do you see? A lot of things that don't necessarily go with the core of the responsibilities of the job. Like I do a lot of IT recruiting. I work with HR professionals. I do work in accounting and finance. So I'll use the IT examples here because I think they're pretty obvious. You see the role for the Java developer who's expected to do network engineering. And you pause and ask yourself, help me understand how this works. But you're not connecting with the client because they're not returning your calls. But you want to work on this, and thus you go down a rabbit hole and never emerge, never filling the job. They've stolen time from you, and you've made the mistake of acting on this nonsense. So I want to encourage you to do a couple of things. Number one is look at the job order with a discerning eye. Does this seem congruent with what someone who is a developer should be doing? So let's assume that it isn't. I'll use that Java developer who's doing network engineering example. So in this example, how is someone going to be a network engineer and a developer? So question number one they ask the client is, how much of their time is doing development versus network engineering? Okay, you discover that they're going to be a backup person in this role for the network engineering side, that 95% of the work is going to be Java development, 5% is the other function. Great. So what do they really need to know about this? And they'll define it for you. Now, here's some of the fun things to always ask when you get an order. And these days, I think it's more important to ask these because the example I gave is pretty obvious. A job order that makes no sense, you have to kind of piece out one versus the other. So here's one thing to ask them. Will you relocate someone? Why? Well, sometimes, like I'll use an example of a firm in Dallas that's looking for people with a particular Wall Street expertise. Obviously, the biggest market's in New York. Would you consider relocating someone from New York or Charlotte or Chicago who could do this role in their sleep, but they're out of town? Always ask the question. If they say no, they say no. Will you do a visa transfer? More firms than you know are doing visa transfers. And if you're in a market that's dealing with a professional clientele, hearing that answer is important to you because so much of the population requires a visa transfer. Here's another fun one. Will you consider a telecommuter? Will you consider a remote worker to do this role? Now, for a lot of jobs, and in more and more organizations, telecommuting is an acceptable way for them to hire. Your job, especially in legacy skills and older skills that aren't as desirable. You'd think it would be the new hot skills, but the older skills where the population base is relatively small can be a great area where you can find organizations that will open themselves up to telecommuting. Don't close that door. Open it up. Just ask the questions. Whatever they say is fine. They may say, well, why would we consider a telecommuter? Because the number of people in your geographic area who do this kind of work, who might be unhappy at a given time and open to other things, is pretty small. Opening up to telecommuting, opening up to relocation increases the talent pool and gives you more choices. At the end of the day, you may wind up choosing a local individual. Great, I'm going to clearly work on that. But if you want to see a bigger population, then you need to open it up to other alternatives. So again, explaining in a very casual, matter-of-fact way, unthreatened by what is a direct confrontational question by them, goes a long way toward building respect for you as a recruiter in the eyes of that person. I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you found this helpful. Visit my website, thebiggamehunter.us. There's a lot there that will help you as a recruiter. And you'll find that currently I have a tabbed area called American Headhunter. I'm moving all of that over to the blog area. So use categories in order to be able to find blog entries that will relate to you as a recruiter. And if you need recruiter coaching, because you have a deal situation you're not quite sure how to handle, or you want advice from me as a veteran individual who can help you in your work as a recruiter, schedule time with me through my website. I'd be very happy to answer your questions. Or you can use Presto Experts. There I appear as a job search and career coaching expert, but obviously I can be compensated through Presto Experts for the same work as I can through my website. I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you have a great day. Take care.